Hello, everybody. What is going on? We are live today. We are playing a new game, to my knowledge. Well, it's not a new game to me, but a new game to you guys. I do not have the new game up yet. We are going to work on doing that now. I am very excited to play the game. I have not played this game in what feels like years. And it will also show how dyslexic my butt is. So yeah, we are going to get ourselves ready. It's just loading now. We will be soon in the game, which I'm very excited, very hyped. You might start hearing the game as soon as it officially starts, because, yeah. And hopefully the music is not copyrighted music. There it is in the background. Let me go to the game screen. It's Our Life. So yeah, we are playing Our Life today. I've played this game before. I will state this from my memory. This game, I flippin' love it. Like, I love the story. I love this game. And I love the person who's on the screen right now. I have so many issues, but hey, I'm here. We're going to be playing Our Life. Which, oh geez, it feels weird going back to this game and playing it for the first time in what feels like forever. I think I have like 31 hours on this game, so I'm not sorry. So I think with that, let's click new file and let's get started. Whoa. Would you like gameplay explanation session to appear? No. We're going to go straight into customization. Oh my. Have not played this game in a while. Well, obviously my name is not Jamie Lass. I am Don. And we're going to just pull the NASCAR series version of my last name, Fox, because let's be real, I am a fox. It just makes the most sense. What a way to do that. We'll do brown face. I am not that tan actually in real life. I'm probably in the peachy. Like, I'm not pale, but I'm peachy. Eye shape. I think those eyes are fine. Eye color. See, my character has heterochromia eyes, but we cannot do that. So you know what? We are going to put my eye set as yellow, as in my character's avatar right here. We're going to move over to the hair. I was actually messing around like a day before and figuring out what the hairstyle would be. This would be it. Hair back, we don't need to do that. I think over time I might add a little on to this. But yeah, no. I won't be doing anything. Like, I might do some stuff here, but I think for now, because if you don't know how our life works, you work through many stages with this other character who moves in, and you start as kids and you work your way up to basically adulthood. Hair color. Well, canonical hair color right here. Thanks, Fire Creeper, for that. And dyed color blue. Also, I've been debating on purple. This blue is, however, the light blue, which is not my hair color, but I think we'll take the blue. So, yeah. This is what we're looking like. Pronouns, we'll do the he, him pronouns. Just so you guys know, you can, if your name is on this list, you can have your name be voiced. Well, hey, Crystal's here. For those who don't know, I know a person named Crystal who's been on a video or two. And she's on here. Yeah, no, there's a lot of names that it's like, really? Like, there's so many names they could have added and they didn't add a single one. Like, how dare they? Okay, birthmarks and scars. I don't think I need any of these. Birthmarks. We're gonna go a little bit in real life, so you're gonna get a little idea of how I am. I do have a birthmark actually on my arm. It's pretty faded now, but it is there. I can definitely state it. As of now, scars, freckles, no. We're not going to give this character trauma yet. That's later in the story. Clothing types, we'll do pants and shirt. Accessory types, I do actually wear a lot of bracelets. So, yeah, we'll have that pretty much set. And I think, if that is all, I think we're ready, guys. Let's hit done and get started. Ooh, have not played this in so long. Oh, here we go. Let's see how bad my reading's gonna be. Summer in Sunset Bird was a special time of year. Your usually sleepy town begins to bustle. It's a popular tourist. It was a popular. I swear I could read. I swear. It was a popular tourist destination with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of school-less vacation with it. During the summer, your moms didn't like you to wander too far outside of your neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. Moms, you say? That includes the people. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed and did what your moms call putting down roots. That's actually a very interesting way to put it. They built Blah, 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 blah. They built businesses. They got to know each other. And they definitely said hello to the nice kids who waved when and they definitely said hello to the nice kids who waved when they passed their stores. I can English, guys. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that their families, friendly residents waved. Family, familiar. I could read. I swear I could read. Ugh. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that their family, that's familiar, Don. Familiar, friendly residents wave, or ask, how's your family was, or most often just said hello. Okay, our first option. Oh, you didn't really get why they had to say hi. They saw you every day, but you nodded and waved back to them. That's a very 8-year-old thing to do. You end up saying hi to a lot of different people since most of the tourists that came and went every summer were the same ones. True. And you were too anxious to say hi back to most of the other residents that greeted you, but they all knew you well enough to expect that. Oh, which route do I want to take myself? Okay, I guess we'll go as my actual 8-year-old self. So you're gonna get a little like Don lore, history Don, like the actual person behind the fox. Honestly, I would say hi to everyone. You enjoy learning all about where they were visiting and hope to visit those places one day too. Aww. But today, there was a strange... there's no strange in there. But today, there was a man sitting on the curb outside your house. Stranger danger, stranger danger, stranger danger, stranger danger. He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person, or a statue that had magically sprung up from the ground overnight. Yeah, that's a good way to think of that. Whoever or whatever he was, you have never seen him before. Again, stranger danger. One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was that people who didn't recognize really stood out. Yeah, that sounded so sense. That made so much sense. Jeez Louise. It was rare for tourists to venture into the resident district, as your moms called it. So for you, not knowing who a total stranger was set off a lot of red flags. Yeah, stranger danger. 100% what stranger danger. I would not be trusting this man. Your moms had talked to you and your big sister Lizzie about this kind of situation before. Yeah, I hope so. Oh my gosh, another choice. You hadn't really been listening at the time. You think it could be okay to talk to new people. I feel called out. They mentioned that some people aren't good to talk to, but other types of people can help you even if you don't know them. Oh, jeez. And finally, you remember that it's okay to run away if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about being polite then. This is the anxious route right here, I see. We are going to go and do this. I feel like that would be the best answer in my opinion. You weren't sure about this man yet. Yeah, no, I don't trust this man. I don't know who this man is. Still, you felt scared knowing that he was blocking the way to your front door. Yeah, no, that kind of makes sense. But you were pretty invested. You wanted to know more about what's going on. Whether he was nice or not, you didn't want to be a bother. Uh, I think this would be my best. This would be what 8-year-old me would have picked. You slow down as you thought about you. The English come to me. You slow down as you thought about how you could get around this. There was a split second where your eyes met. That wasn't good. He was probably going to say something now that he's seen you standing around here. Hey, stranger danger, stay away from me. I don't know what you look like. I know what you're gonna look like, but I still don't know what you look like. You're... okay, you got this done. You're right. His deep voice called out to you, but you didn't say anything. Unfortunately, the man stood up and started to make his way towards you. Oh no, I'm gonna get kidnapped. Not wanting to seem too approachable, you folded your arms and stared. Oh. Still unsure about him, but willing to be friendly, you offers the strangers. He smiled. Your whole body froze in place as he approached. Honestly, 8-year-old me would do this. As much as I don't want to say it, 8-year-old me would do this. Oh, voice lines. I forgot there is... People do... There's some voices in there, so there will be some times where I won't have to read. Well, I'm still gonna read regardless. Hi, sir. Why do you have a ponytail? Why are you doing that cheesy grin? That is a... I will state this. He looks like he's a teenager. I will state this. He looks like a teenager in this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. You live around here? What's your name? You look at the man up and down, taking his tan skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxing. The way he was acting wasn't. Yeah, no. He's got this cheesy grin like he's gonna take me away or something. Jeez. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo, and you wondered if he is obsessed with the ocean or something. Yeah, no, I would probably think that too. No. Yeah, no, I would not be thinking that. I would be thinking, oh shoot, I'm gonna be kidnapped now. While you made your assessments, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for an answer to his question. Yeah, I live here. I live right there. My name is Don. You continue to say nothing. Honestly, 8-year-old me in this situation would actually continue not saying nothing. If you do. He rubbed his back. His back. That's the English. I have English. I can totally do English like 100%. He rubbed the back of his neck uncomfortably and gave you a small smile. 20 bucks. Damn. He reached out of his pocket and pulled a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him. Well, could you do me a favor? Oh, no. Sir, why are you giving me a $20? Nothing bad. Sorry, I shouldn't have. Let me start over. Okay. Why do I not trust this man? Why do I not trust this man? I mean, 8-year-old me would not trust this man. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. Yeah, no. if he looks creepier, then yeah, no, it's not gonna help whatsoever in his case and scenario. From where you were standing, I just apparently I have amnesia as well. Whoops. I have a son. His name is Cove, who's about your age. A son, you say? Cove. That seems like a strange name for an actual living person to you. You chewed on the inside of your cheek. This guy definitely obsessed with water. You saw that was pretty cool. Honestly, 8-year-old me would think that's the strangest name you can give a human being ever. But definitely the kind of name someone like this guy would give to their kid. That fair. 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 He doesn't even introduce himself. He's introduced his son, but where's his son? Okay, we're just gonna label him Cove's dad, which, hey, fine. No name reveal. We moved across the street, see? He gestured towards the house that has been empty for a year. His watch catching the late afternoon sunlight and reflecting off the walls. The giant for sale sign was finally gone. Oh my gosh. Finally, my word, it's been a year. You must be Don Fox, right? I met your moms earlier, and they told me you were 8, just like him. So, he shook the $20 bills, bringing it back to your attention. An hopeful smile tilted his lips at the corners. Cove's dad. That $20 is very interesting of a bribe right now. I might consider. Can you try and be my... Can you try and be friends with the boy? Just give it a chance, and you can keep this. He's a good kid. You'll like him.
Do you mind?
But you've got to keep it a secret, too, okay? It won't be friendly to say his dad sent you. You eyed the man. You kind of felt sorry for Cove. Did other kids really get their parents to pay for friendship? Honestly, 8-year-old me would think this way. So yeah, no. Did other kids really get their parents to pay for friendship? Had your moms done that for you and Lizzie? The thoughts made you frown. What do you say? Want to make a deal? I took the bill. I didn't want to take the money. I run away. I mean, you're giving an 8-year-old a $20 bill. In their minds, they are freaking rich. $20 is a lot of money to them. You carefully plucked the bill from his outstretched hand, grinning at the thought that what you could do with that much cash. All the sweets you could ever want. You could buy a ticket for the new movie at the cinema. There was a cute stuffed animal that have seen in the stores in town. It cost a few dollars to set up a library card. With this, you could pay for yourself instead of having your moms do it. You weren't sure yet. Honestly, I will state this. I would still buy a stuffed animal to this day. So 8-year-old me would want to buy the stuffed animal. It was going to be able to go home with you. And that was just the start. You thought the sky was the limit. Was that kind of amount? Yeah, no. The man smiled at you, his eyes crinkling at the sides as he did. Great, that's great. I'll bring him tomorrow. I forgot a word. I forgot bye. Why am I like this? Can someone explain why I'm like this, please? I'll bring him by tomorrow. I want him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but... well, I don't know where he's gone off to. He laughed and he said, That, but with the way his face looked you through, he actually wanted to cry. Why? Okay. Tie fire, welcome. Get good, Oh my gosh, hi fire. I hope your stream went well, fire. As I'm gonna continue. If you see him, can you tell him to come on home? Fine. I will. He's got a pink English, please. For the love of God. He's got a pink cast and glasses. You can't miss it. It went fantastic. Nice. Also, you spelled it wrong. I'm gonna be the grammar police. Oh no, I don't know what you were trying to say there, Fire. I could keep it either way, sure thing. I can try, or okay. Honestly, I will state, 8-year-old me would say I would try. Sure. Not the sure Jan. I was just looking at Jan and then I see a sure Jan. I can try. You nodded. Not totally certain if you'll find Cove, but willing to look. That's the best part of this. The man smiled and reached out to pat you on the head, paused before doing so, then pulled his hands away and said, "Your moms are really English. Welcome to Don Can't Do English. Your moms are already checking around for me. Such a thoughtful group you are. Now, I better go." English! Save me, please! I'm disappearing into the darkness. Okay, see you, Fire! Now I better go look. Now I better go look too. Can't put everyone else to work while I keep sitting here. That is true, sir. You better go look. He is your son, after all. I thought he might have come back, and that's not what's important. I have to go. Thanks again, Don, so much. He jogged off down the street without another word. You decided to check the hills behind your house. Sure. Oh, it's night. Step 1, first sight. It's step 1, y'all. It's our first step. The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quite and familiar. From the top of the hills, you could see the ocean. I mean, there it is. As you walked, you listened to the crash of the waves on the shore and the seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. You've always loved the ocean. It was so much fun. You love to hear stories about the sea, about the merfolks and sea serpents. You have imagined living far beneath the waves. You didn't enjoy the beach all that much, especially the sand, which got absolutely everywhere. I mean, as a fox, yeah, no, it does get everywhere. Like, it literally does get everywhere. But you know what? We're gonna say I would want to become a merfolk. Become a merfox, boy. How would that work, honestly? Sometimes you almost convince yourself you had seen a flash of a shiny mermaid's tail in the distance. Honestly, yeah, no, 8-year-old me would. You took a deep breath. You wanted to try and relax, but couldn't. You weren't sure of what, but something told you weren't alone. So you glanced around. Who is this? Who is this? There was a boy sitting at the top of one hill, almost completely hidden, with the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. Who is this? His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. Who is this strange kid or person in that state? You watched him a minute longer, feeling a little bit like you found a deer in the wild. I mean, 8-year-old me would just stare. I would agree to that. The deer didn't have green hair, wavy eyebrows, huge glasses, pink cast, sat out front. The pink cast, it's Cove, everybody, we found him. Pink cast. But this new boy did. You wondered how he got it. After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another. And then he glanced your way. Uh-oh, we've been spotted. His aquamarine eyes reflect the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him to show you weren't scary. Hi. Hey, Space Cadet. Are you lost? Honestly, it's another fellow kid, so I'll say hi. With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into a fist at his side. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. He's been crying. There were traces of his tears on his cheek and on his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining in with a few more. You obviously caught him off guard. What, you never seen a fox boy like this? His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, though when he caught you staring at it, he hid his arms behind his back. No, don't. Oh. Something the man earlier had said stuck out to you. Cove? His eyes widened. He studied you. How do you know that? You touched the money in your pocket, feeling it crinkle beneath your fingertips. I met your dad. I'm all-knowing. Lucky guess. Honestly, if I have to keep it a secret, I would end up saying 8-year-old me does not have the filter. He would say, I met your dad. Oh. So, is this your hill? He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. I can leave it if it is. No. 8-year-old me would definitely state this one, but let's go through the options so you guys get it. Yep, you can't own a hill. You shook your head. 8-year-old me would state, you can't own a hill. Why not? How could you? You just do. I had a hill back at home. Well, this still isn't mine. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Oh. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, you sat on the patch of grass next to him. The pure white flowers that covered the hill rock back and forth gently as the stars twinkle above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers too. Interesting comparison there, but the night wind was cold as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. Why are you here? Why did your family move? Ooh, both of these I would ask as an 8-year-old, but I think, why are you here? A quiet hiccup escapes Cove as soon as you ask the question. Oh. Almost like they never stop, his tears start up again with a vengeance. I hope I said that right, because English is not apparently English is not my common language, even though I am English. My parents, they don't want to live together anymore. Oh, I miss more words. They don't want to live together with me anymore. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheek, sticking in his dark lashes. My mom made my dad leave, and he took me with him. And now we have a house here, and I want to go home. Oh, oh, that hurts. I haven't moved yet. I haven't moved, so it does not hit hard, but it really does hit hard. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heavy with exhaustion. He sniffed and removed his glasses, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again. Oh, I hate this place. I want my real life back. Oh, I want my mom. I'm sorry. Your dad seems nice. You like it here. You just have to get used to it. Stop crying. I would, honestly, if someone was outbursting crying, I would definitely say I'm sorry. He slipped his hand underneath his glasses and pressed his finger against his eyelid. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. Oh, oh. You felt bad for him. Being forced to come here with no choice. You couldn't imagine what it would feel like to live with only one of your moms. But it must be pretty hard. Oh, yeah, no, it would. But from the way off distance, you heard your parents. Dawn?
Cove?
Thanks, Cove, Dad. Kids, where did you go? Cove looked at you, tears still clinging onto his cheeks. Don't tell him we're here.
I want to go home.
I don't want to go back to that house. I want to go home. Why? I've not played this game in years. You can handle it. You have to go. Don't worry so much. Sorry, I have to. It'll be okay. I would do that last bit. It will be okay. You were struck by a sudden need to reassure Cove. Yeah, no, he needs it. It's not going to be fun. But isn't he your family too? Yeah, I guess. Then you can count on him when you really, really need him. You shot him a grin. English is hard. And push yourself to your feet. Slowly Cove stood up with you, still looking like a little reluctant English. Ugh. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked towards the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm. Oh, sorry. I still don't want to go. You call yourself out. You wait silently with him. You try and convince him. Honestly, 8-year-old me would be convincing this kid. Are you sure? You don't have to stay outside the whole night and sleep on a wet grass. That is true. Sleeping on wet grass is not a good idea. Before Cove could say anything else, you heard his dad's voice again, even closer than before. There you are, bud. The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landing on you as they rush over. Hey, my mom's. Both of your moms were at your side. In a split second, face filled with worry. Dawn, you're here after all. We've been at the park to check for Cove, and then we heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. No, we were just sitting in the grass. Why is everyone acting like this is such a big thing? We're okay, don't worry. Cove didn't want to go home just yet. We're okay. Honestly, 8-year-old me would say, we're okay, don't worry. Thank God you're both fine. Were you two having fun out here? You looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing out his arm. He shrugged. Yes, I like him. He's good. I think I'm gonna marry him. Honestly, 8-year-old me, spoiler, would not have thought this way. I would probably say, yes, I like him. You nod, smiling slightly. Finally, letting go of his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turns to the three of you.
That's a relief.
Thanks very much for finding him. I really didn't know this neighborhood. Good thing Dawn knows the whole area so well. Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove.
Bye.
Bye. The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading towards the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright pink hat until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper play date tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? Sure, can I show up my stuff? Such a child thing. It sounds like words. You nodded, ducking your head down. Honestly, 8-year-old me would say this.
Of course.
A lot of this is just more, how would 8-year-old Dodd just say stuff? Of course. Okay then. Both of your moms laughed. The sound overlapping the warm, familiar chorus. Mommy. I've got to say that with a straight face. Oh no. Mommy put her... I can't. Put her arm around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Yeah, no, I'm not going to read that with a straight face from this entire scene. If that word is ever there, I will not be able to keep a straight face. Satisfied and more than a little, ready to go to bed after an exciting day, you follow them home. Ooh. Honestly, okay. 8-year-old me would have found feelings for him. Like, he's not going to be indifferent. Found. And it's going to be relaxed. Obviously, I will state this. There's going to be a bit of a difference since there's a, we do have 3 more stages. So I'm going to jump a little bit to end up having stuff. Because obviously, love up here is blocked off. So yeah. Here we go. You won't be able to change this again until step 2. Fine by me. So hey, here we go. At the breakfast table the next morning, you finish your food faster than usual. I wonder why. Your sister Lizzie had ran out earlier to go play, but you stayed put. Today, just like your mom's had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. Excited to see your new friend again, Dawn? Yeah, I am.
How sweet.
How sweet. I'm so happy he moved in.
Okay.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast? Yeah. I don't know. Am I? Your bowl was entirely empty, so you nodded. 8-year-old me would say that. This is just me. Okay, at this rate, how many times have I said that? It would be just take a shot at this rate if I say that. I will try not to say it from this point on, but with all expression of an 8-year-old could muster, you looked at your empty cereal bowl and then at Mom.
Okay.
Okay, attitude kid, we see. Good job. He soon be here soon. He should be here soon. English. Ugh. Ugh. Cleanup began, and then on cue, there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure they were at the right place. Still loud though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I've been living with you guys for what, 8 years, and that doorbell is not obvious, and I clicked the same button again. I know. Don, could you get it? Wiggling out your chair without really pushing it back, you made your way to the door. Hey, Fox family. Oh, apparently everyone's I mean, I'll live with that. Thanks for having us. Mr. Holden, as your mom has called him, and his son were here. Aww. Cove looked different in the bright light of your living room, and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him, and mom, I am not going to say that word. I can't keep a straight face if I try and say it. Behind you, you and Cove look at each other. Pleased to see your new friend again, you smiled at Cove. He smiled back with some hesitation. I twisted the thread bracelet on my wrist. I twist the crystal bead necklace on my wrist. I twist the flower bead. I would twist the thread bracelet on my wrist. Let's go play in my room.
Okay.
Okay.
Take care.
Let us know if you need anything, you two. Have fun. Have fun, kids.
See you.
See you later, son. Play nice. Oh, I have a lovely room. Oh. You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit like a sight of your treasures. There was a lot of stuffed animals. It was a cool bed at the window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned in closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. Me too. I drew that. Thank you. I don't know. Honestly, 8-year-old me would be saying thank you. You're welcome. You smiled at him. You were proud that the particular piece of art that you were glad he noticed it. He turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the wall. Starting to feel a bit nervous. You felt the atmosphere was kind of awkward. You were glad for the company. You hoped he liked his room. Honestly, let's say that 8-year-old me is kind of getting self-aware that he might not have feelings for just girls. Yet again, there's not been a lot of kids introduced, so I will state I felt the atmosphere was kind of awkward. You wanted to say something, but didn't know what. So you let him keep looking. Good. Keep looking at it. Then his eyes landed on a tiny box of beach scenes you have collected, tucked away by your door. He took a step forward towards it. Look before hesitating and pointing it at it instead. What's that? A heart of stuff I found on the beach.
Oh.
Do you have any driftwood in there? Dragging the box in the middle of the floor, the middle of your room. You and Co flopped down next to it. I think so. Yeah, see? You gestured at a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand. Neat. This is a cool collection. You got the sense that from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice or to be like Shiloh. He actually meant it. Shiloh? I don't know who this Shiloh is. Right, I almost forgot. Shiloh is going to be here today. Shiloh? Lizzie's friend, or like her #1 fan, I guess. Do I have to see him? It should be okay. I mean, he's Lizzie's friend, not mine. But, come on. Check out my shell some more. I found this one under a big piece of seaweed that had washed ashore, and you pulled out shell after shell, explaining where you've gotten each one and holding them against the light. Aww. Yep, 8-year-old me would pull that. Okay, I will stop trying to reference my 8-year-old self, but it's too hard not to, because 8-year-old me would do this. There were one. Sorry, headphone warning. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. Most of them you have washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. Over the years, you even learned some of their scientific names. The collection was so huge and varied that you had lots of funny stories to tell them, all of them. Your voice flattered a little bit, but you kept going best you could. Honestly, I would have funny stories. Apparently fascinated either by the stories or the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looks like full focus of his attention. Ooh! Like when you almost got pinched by a hermit crab while searching for shells, and after him scuttling back to the ocean, you found another empty shell that was almost twin to his home. It was it was a new experience to be the center of such detailed focus. But Cove haven't but Cove haven't been mean to you, so you didn't mind. You smiled at him every now and then while showing him your collection. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mom wasn't going to give you so much of a chance to hang it around. Dang it, Mom. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guess it was because he thinks you found each other by accident. Not that his parents made it happen. Mr. Holland. Oh my gosh. Can my mouse stay from going down there, please? It's ruining the screen. Mr. Holland must be right that... Mama, I can't English today. Mr. Holland must be right that telling Cove his dad was part of that would be a bad idea. Before you knew it, you both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Shiloh's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I can read. I swear I can read. I brought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. Great. Okay, be careful. You should have asked. Great. Bust it open. We can keep looking while we wait for Shiloh. Cole reached and pulled out a big orange shell. Oh. I love how I'm getting a Steam notification here. I don't know how to take those off, unfortunately, so if anyone does know, please let me know. It would be appreciated. Like he hadn't spoken out loud yet, he turned it to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think I like this one it's the best. I think this one is the best of them. That's my favorite too. I like a different one best. I can show you. You could take it. Honestly. Yeah, no. I'll give it to him. Cove looked surprised. His eyes gone wide. Oh, really? Sure. You like it a lot, right? Uh-huh, but I didn't want to take it from you. It's okay. You got the impression he was hesitant to accept something because he didn't know you very well yet. I insist. No, it's okay for you. You pushed the shell against Cove's chest, willing him to receive the present, but Cove firmly shook his head and kept his arm tightly at his side. It was a battle you couldn't win, at least not today. Cove was your neighbor now. Maybe you could give it to him another time, as a birthday gift. The two of you were sitting on the floor, looking through your collection of beach findings, when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person had knocked, you figured it was probably Shiloh. He knew where to look for that. Lizzie's friend? You nodded, but didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings well. You could tell he was thinking of singing it right away. This isn't a good idea. You should be alright. He's here. We can't tell him to leave. He's our only door, and if you go upstairs, he'll find you. Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide. He finally paused, and his gaze locked onto the back of the house. I can go out the window. He was already walking towards it, scrambling to think of something to say, you step forward, then pause. Did you want to break your other arm? Shiloh is the least scariest person alive. Cheer up, Shiloh is going to like you. Please don't get hurt. I'll come with you. Good idea, let's go. Honestly, Shiloh is the least scariest person alive. Every single bunny rabbit is scarier than Shiloh. But I don't want to see him. I don't know him. Honestly, let's comfort him. It's okay. You don't... If you're worried, nobody warned you this was going to happen. Thanks. Shiloh poked his head into the living room. It was impossible to know for sure if he heard what you've been saying or not, but you guess he had.
Hi.
Hi, Don. Oh, gosh. And hi, Cove? Cove shot you an uneasy glance.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Shiloh. It's nice to meet you. Yeah. You have a lot of freckles. Right, I do. What are you going to do? What are you guys doing? We're looking at shells.
Can I do it too?
Awesome! Can I do it too? Cove shrugged, then looked back to box of beach finding. What about that one? Oh, I love the music changes. The plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at beach things some more. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else, especially if Cove was having fun. Hey, check out this scallop shell I found. Cool, right? It's a pretty color. Kind of like my cast. The beautiful glittering pink did look a little bit like the wrap around his arm. Pink is a nice color. Okay.
Oh?
What's your favorite? Not really. What is it? Maybe green or blue? It might be yellow. Oh, those are all cool.
I guess.
I guess. I like those colors too. There are better colors. Not sure how to deal with this. Awkward silence. You look at. I will say that I like those colors too, because little me would not have been able to decide what his favorite color was. Well, it was green, and then yellow, then purple and black. Blue was also somewhere in there. Anyways, awesome. Both of them smiled. Like usual, it didn't take long for Shiloh to get fidgety. Lizzie was his favorite. Without her around, Shiloh didn't seem to know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. He wasn't much like you either. Is Lizzie coming back? I don't know. Aw. Where'd she go? I think she's at the beach, probably. Is she playing at her park? Cove. Shiloh. Shiloh, you can't own a park. Shiloh. Cove eyes light up at the mention of the park, and then he looked towards you. Oh no. There's a park? Yep, but it's old. Can you show me? I want to go. He started getting up before you have even answered, and Shiloh jumped up beside him in excitement. Really? Do you do too? Right, Don? The park is fun. I love it. The park is pretty great. No. No. Yeah, we'll say the park is really great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's right at the beach, so there's a lot of fun stuff to do. and lots of sand. It has a jungle gym and a bunch of swings. That sounds like it could be cool. So, are we going to find Lizzie? I don't know. I never really want to see her. I just want to check the park out. Adrift without any direction, Shiloh finally turned to you. Okay. He perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. After getting permission from your mom, the three of you were ready to head out. It was a short walk to the park. Lizzie had convinced your mom that it was short, so short, she should always be allowed to walk there by herself. Lizzie sounds like a brat. When you found her, she was hanging on the jungle gym, swinging back and forth. Hey, Lizzie. Her face lit up. Then she saw you, her big brown eyes gone wide. Dawn! Shiloh! Hi! She dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. A split second, Shiloh had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. You were used to being left out when it was just the three of you, but now Cove was here. You wondered if he would leave too. Yeah, no, she's a brat. Who's that? It's Cove. He's new.
Hi.
I remember. Hi, Cove. Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes here to play here, so it's where we get together. She gestured widely with her arms, as if to present the area to the newcomer. Without interrupting Lizzie's speech, Cove whispered in your ear quietly enough that the others wouldn't overhear. I thought kids couldn't own places like a park or a hill. You two are the worst, Lizzie and Shiloh. You couldn't help but laugh a tiny bit. While Lizzie continued talking to you, you took the chance to kick off your shoes and wiggle your toes through the warm sand. Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with the ideas. You are?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I am. Who else could handle the job? Lizzie is the oldest. By a lot. My mom's said so. Said you're Dawn's age?
Yeah.
Yeah. Though I'm so. That's a weird way to say that. Though so, I'm still the only one in this group with the double digits. Yeah, she's a brat. Lizzie's a brat. 100%. Lizzie, quit being a brat. What about other kids? Other kids? There aren't any. We're the only kids here, and Shiloh is just visiting from another place. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful that the oldies don't try and steal your youth. Oh. For a second, it looked like he might cry again. But something in his eyes shifted. He looked back at Lizzie. What kind of old people? Like moms, dads, or grandparents? Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids. Why? We haven't done anything. Only some of them don't like kids. Stop saying stuff like that. You're going to upset him. Yeah, they're really bad. Honestly, gotta do this one. Stop saying stuff like that. You're going to make him upset. You interject quickly, hoping Cove wouldn't start crying again. He sniffled. His forehead creased. Was worried. Lizzie was started English. My English. Why are you like this? Lizzie was starting. I hate the English alphabet so much. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't even looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. Shiloh was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation. I met Lizzie and Dawn in school. You'll see tons of kids there once summer is over. I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end. Shiloh looked down at the dirt. What dirt? We're on a beach. He hasn't had much luck striking up conversation with Cove. Obviously. I like summer vacation a lot too. All the building tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. At Shiloh's discomfort, at how weird she thought Cove was at something else entirely. You didn't really know, but she laughed, face scrunched up. I can read.
Okay.
Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat. Put up your feet and get used to it. Nah. You offered him a small smile. And that. Oh, no. Why am I tired? You offered him a small smile and that at least look of reassurance in some. For the rest of summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Shiloh, and on some days when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. That is surprising. He became a staple of your everyday life. The sun and lunch and the beach were. During your first summer together, you really liked Cove. He was a fun person to play with, and he seemed to be playing with you too. Of course, that was only the start of things. And here we go, our first decision here, steps, choices. I'm probably going to go in order, so from shopping, and then we'll end to sleepover. And then, of course, we'll end, and then summer ends. Because, yeah. So, let's go shopping. Okay, let's get a drink before we read Cove's dead. But yeah, here we go, chat. We are starting off in the actual story, so we get to learn a little bit more of people's backstories and all that. Okay, here we go. Come back before it gets dark, alright, sport? The familiar voice drifted across the street, and you drew your attention away from the snail you've been watching, inching slowly across the pavement. Also, hello, bro. How's your vacation going over there? While that's going on, I'm gonna continue. Cove waited in the front of his dad, pushing his green hair back off his face from where the breeze was blowing. It was over his glasses. Good, that's good to hear. Why are you here in my chat? Aren't you supposed to be walking around somewhere? Just out of curiosity, aren't you supposed to be walking around here? He looked to be playing only a mid-mile amount of attention as he was being handed a few slips of green paper. That's gotta be money right there. It reminds you of when you first met Mr. Holland, although he probably is not paying Cove to be friends with himself. You know, that would be a pretty dumb way to think of it. Cove's dad seemed to feel your gaze somehow. Or maybe you made a noise because a second later, his eyes were on you. He waved you over with a smile. I see my bro left. How dare he? He looked happy to see you, but you still feel a little weird getting caught. You gotta learn how to be more sneaky. I'm a fox. I'm supposed to be sneaky, so yeah, I need to learn to be more sneaky if that's the case. You brushed your hands together to free them of sand, then jogged over to join the two, smiling at Cove first and then his dad. Hi, Don. Hi.
How's it going?
Good to see you again. What excitement are you doing? What excitement are you up to today, Don? Taking a walk. I found a pretty cool snail across the road. There's a lot of snails around here. Mr. Holland grinned at you kindly. After you finished answering the question, Mr. Holland's attention returned to Ko, who was preoccupied with folding the bills he had into a tiny rectangle. Sounds fun. You know, Ko, this is about to hit the stories by the beat. Stores, jeez, ugh. I was about to hit the stores by the beach. Why don't you go with him? You gave a ready nod, turned to squint the direction of the stores like you could see the goods they had to offer all the way from where you were stood. Oh, is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't mind. Great. I'm sure you guys will have lots of fun. Mr. Holland reached into his pocket, pulled out a wallet filled with money. You found it odd, since your mom only ever seemed to have cards in theirs. Here. He placed the leaned in to pass a crisp 10 to Cove, giving him a wink and whispered, "Give something for your friend too." Sure.
Good kid.
That's my boy. Cove's dad ruffled his son's hair as he straightened back up the bill. In his hand, still held out towards the green hair boy. Take care. Cove accepted the bill after a second and slipped it into his pocket. Then, with one last nod to his dad, he turned and started walking. You followed him after, intrigued at the possibilities this outing might bring. Cove strayed towards the gentle tide creeping up on the sand, and you fell into place beside him. It was a nice day. The sun was shining, and there weren't many clouds in the sky, though the wind coming off the ocean kept it from being too hot. You took a deep breath and enjoyed the scent of the salt and the ocean air. When you looked at Cove, he dragged his feet through the sand, a little, and you slowed down, waiting for him. His eyes searched the ground intently. Are you looking for snails? Are you looking for shells? What is it? You didn't need to feel. Are you looking for shells? Cove started Cove startled a little at the sound of your voice and mumbled, sort of. If you see any, can you let me know? You could manage that. You drop your view to the sand, walking carefully so you didn't step on any. You were good at finding shells. You had a lot of them at home and always found new ones wherever you visit the beach. The comforting sound of the waves filled the silence with pleasant white noise, and you played a little... Oh my gosh, I clicked the wrong button again. And you played a little game with yourself as you walked along, getting as close to the water as possible without getting wet. It results in you having to run up the sand quickly when the wave rushed in more than a few times. And though Cove threw a few glances at your way, he didn't say a word. You didn't either. How'd you want to go for the shop? What do you usually do on a beach? Honestly, I'd be curious. We're going to the shop, so why are we going to the shops? I need a new sand pail. Yeah. What happened to your old one? Cove narrowed eyes, seeming to think deeply for a second.
Whoa.
It disappeared. What, really? Cove ducked his head down, lacing his fingers behind his back. It didn't seem like it was going to continue, so you nudged his arm. How did it happen? Well, Cove opened his mouth, then shut it again, considering. I took it to the beach one day. And when I got home, it wasn't there. You left it there. Nope. It wasn't at the beach when I went back. Then you lost it. It disappeared.
So...
What about you? What do you do out here? I don't come to the beach a lot. I like swimming. I like looking at fish. I like building sand castles. Nothing. Honestly, I will state this. I do like swimming. Cove lips curled up in a small smile. Me too. Aww. It occurred to you that you hadn't been swimming in a while. There was just so much to do before school started up again, and so little time. Hey, we reached the shopping area. Once you reached the shopping area, the noise level grew exponentially. No longer was the waves and footsteps, but the chatter of people enjoying the lovely summer day. The call of birds trying to find bits of food left behind, and lots of salespeople trying to get attention. You sniffed the air and walked beside Cove. You could smell the ocean, but there was other scents too. Pizza, pretzels, hot donuts. Oh, don't make me hungry. It was nice. It was not very nice. It was alright. I would say it was nice. It was very nice, honestly. The energy surrounding the area seemed to fill you, and there was a bounce in your step. You begin to look at all the familiar sights. There were so many things to do, you didn't know where to begin. You looked at Cove, hoping he was just as excited as you were. Cove glanced from one side of the street to the other, looking in his aquamarine eyes that you couldn't quite work out. What's that? Cove pointed at a large crowd of people gathered near a few tables with large, colorful umbrellas looming from their middles. You could see past the adults who were blocking the way, but you knew must have been something worth saying. Without another word, You two hurried over to see what all the commotion was about. Amazing Alexander. Feast your eyes on the amazing Alexander. The crowd of people. In the center of the crowd, the man with a tall hat and funny green coat that had 3 long tails. There was a little table next to him with cloths hanging over it that read "The Amazing Alexander" in glittery golden script. Why tell people his name if he's already has a sign? It was already on a sign. I can read. I can so read. Cove hummed with the understatement and then turned to walk away, just as the amazing Alexander began shuffling a deck of cards. Maybe we should stay and watch? Cove glanced back at the man. He then briefly lifted his arm up off his sign before returning them to place. You grin, waving for him to follow as you race back to the stand in the crowd. Was it beginning? The magic man pulled one card out of the deck, showing it to the curious onlookers. It was a 4 of diamonds. Watch closely. You did, squeezing through a few of the adults onlookers to get a better view. Suddenly, the man snapped. That scared me. Suddenly, the man snapped his fingers and the card just disappeared. Whoa. The amazing Alexander, who had earned his title, turned his head and looked directly behind you. He reached out and with a kind smile. What's this behind your ear? Honestly, 8-year-old me would say this. Tell me! I wouldn't back away. I wouldn't say nothing. This had to be going to be somewhere you need to find out. He smelled like popcorn and candy. Then he stepped closer. It was great. You felt a tug. Then he pulled the 4 diamonds out from behind your ear. You knew it couldn't really have come from your ear, but you still didn't get how he done it. The light applause from the crowd, and the man gave a deep bow. This is for you. The magician plucked a pair of balloons from a clamp of them tied down to his table, both the shape of a dolphin instead of being a normal circle. And one for your friend too. Thank you for being my assistant. Wow. Now you were really grateful he chose you. After that, he went to someone else in the crowd. Pick a card, any card. My uncle does that every time he visits. Not the balloon, the stuff with cards. Cove spoke plainly while reaching over to take the dolphin that has been designed for him. Maybe it wasn't so special. Cove was just ruining the fun. At least you had a fun time. You wonder if Cove's whole family was magic. Honestly, yeah. If so, he was lucky. The crowd started to clear some, and you noticed to the side there was a whole rack bringing out colored kaleidoscopes on display. You pick up a kaleidoscope, you pick up a Rubik's Cube, you pick up a magic. I walk past the toys. Honestly, I have a Rubik's Cube actually in my hand right now as we speak. So you know what? I pick up a Rubik's Cube. Oh, these are cool. I can't read. Will you hold my balloon while I look at this? Cove nodded, taking your balloon and holding it at the same hand as his own. You can get a good grip on the cube. Yeah, I gotta get a good grip. He stood next to you and watches you attempt to match the colors rose. You managed to line up all the green squares on one side of the cube, but there were still 5 more sides to go. Deciding that it was something that you should continue another time, you set the cube back on the rack and took your balloon from Cove, who moved to the other side of the stall. Dang! Okay. He went under careful. He went under the awing careful. English. Okay, careful of his own floating dolphin, and you joined him. Did you have a place like this in your old town? Are you having fun? I don't really like it here. You say nothing. Honestly, I would like to know. Did you have anything like this in your old place? Cove blinked at you for a moment, and you wondered if you shouldn't have asked. You knew how much he missed that place. Not really. You nodded in understanding, looking over at the shells nearby. Ooh. While Cove looked at the sand pails, you were at the table with colorful keychains, and out of it there was sewn in a shape of sea creatures, and there was plaqued that read "handmade," standing proudly in front. There were lots of different types. You saw a dolphin, a shark, a crab, a turtle. I'll pick the dolphin. You stood at the shop on the dolphin, so similar to your balloon animal. It was made of bright material that caught in the sunlight when you picked it up. You remembered once seeing a pod of dolphins swimming out in the distance at the beach, jumping out of the water, splashing as they dived back in it again. That was a great day. You were interestingly emerald. I don't know if I said that right, nor do I want to attempt to. Checking at the price, your heart felt $6. You didn't know much about money, but you thought that was a lot to spend on one thing. You rarely had more than $5 bill to your name. To this day, I still feel like that. Ugh. Though that changed the day you met Cove. Instead, you still had the $20 bills for Mr. Holland. $20 Mr. Holland gave you to hid away in your room. It was a grand sum of money, but you couldn't spend something that was at home instead of your pockets. Ouch. Maybe you could ask your moms to bring you here again one day now that you knew what you wanted. Is that what you wanted? Huh? Oh, It's $6. I didn't bring any money.
All right.
It's fine. Really? Are you sure? Hooray! You don't have to. I don't want you to get it for me. Are you sure? Honestly, I would be saying that. Are you sure you want to spend your money on me? Cove looked at the keychain from your small hand. That was that. He was holding a small yellow bucket for himself too. I was always going to get you something. I already got the money for it. You smiled, pleased to have things worked out. It was nice of Cove's dad to let Cove buy something for you, too. You had to remember to thank him next time you saw him. After Cove paid, the two of you stepped out of the store side by side, your balloon dolphins knocking together and spiraling around the air. You watched Cove hold his new pail to his face, examining it thoroughly. Hey, Cove. Yeah? Your dad gets not a lot of money, huh? I really like this keychain. Never mind. You know, we could be honest here. Or we could forget about being honest. You know what? I really like the keychain. Thank you. It's nice. Cove looked down the street where different food carts were lined up. Oh my gosh, I clicked that same button. He rests his long cast arm over his stomach, and just as he did, you let out a light growl. You haven't eaten since breakfast, and after all, it was all this wandering around. You were definitely ready for some lunch. Let's get some food. Yeah. The two of you wandered around a short while, looking at all the delicacy that were available. Everything looked delicious, and as the different smells, both sweet and salty, wafted over you, your stomach growled even louder. After passing up hot dogs, snow cones, ice cream, and pizzas, you both agree on pretzels. Cove got something sweet and sunny, and you got a plain one, got one with cheese, got one with sprinkles, got one with chocolate, got the same. Honestly, we're gonna go for sprinkles. You licked your lips hungrily as the vendor handed you pretzels over already, ready to take a big bite. It had vanilla coating and 100 color sprinkles on it, just the way you liked it. Your moms didn't like you eating too much sugar, but this was a special occasion. You found an empty table close enough to the beach that the girth of the sand made terrible noises. You dragged the chairs out to sit down. These balloons are going to make it hard to eat. Cove placed his bucket on the table as he started at his still balled up hand that wrapped around the string. Ooh. You opened your mouth to agree, but an idea hit you. I know. After carefully placing your pretzel somewhere it wouldn't get sandy, you tugged the balloon of the dolphin out of Cove's hand and tied it directly below around his waist. Oh. Cove bounced his arm up and down in place, testing the stability of your knot. After watching his balloon jostle around, but remain attached, he smirked and satisfied. Honestly, that balloon would be gone. I can't tie a knot to save the life of me. Or at least a knot that could stay knotted. Can you do that? Do it for me? He repeated the ritual. Cove struggled somewhat with the cast restricting his fingers on one hand, a string already tangled around the other.
Okay.
Got it. Two of you spent moments admiring your handiwork, both hands down, free to allowed to eat as easily munching on your pretzel. You look into the doughy treat, savoring the taste on your tongue with a smile as you look down out of the over the ocean. Ellipses. After a time you finished your pretzel, you were done before Cove. It was boring not having anything to do. You pulled on the string of the balloon, bringing it down to your level. Then you held your dolphin in your hand, manipulating it to make it look like it was jumping through the air. If you turned to face towards the beach, it almost looked like it was swimming in the waves like a real dolphin. A laugh came from your side. When you glanced back at Cove, he was left minding parts of his pretzel on his wrapper, and he was gripping his dolphin too. My name is Weather. He's the Prince of Dolphins. Mine's Splash. They star in movies. My name is Cherry. She's actually an alien. Mine is Sam, just a regular dolphin. Honestly, yeah. Their trainer used fish and treats to help them perform tricks. They are the most famous dolphins in the world. You sigh, wishing you could star in a movie with a real life dolphin. What's yours? Cove considered the question, placing the balloon against the table and resting his free arm across it. Compensation. I don't know. I can't English. It's with a loud pop. The dolphin exploded into rivets. No! Oh no. For a second, all Cove did was gape in shock like you. Then his cheeks puffed up, squinting eyes. You saw his tears start to glisten. No! Don, it... I offered to give Cove my balloon. You look at Cove, then up to your balloon, bobbing gently in the air above you. You can have mine. That was better than letting him cry more. Cove sniffled, glancing up at the balloon, then back at you. No, it's yours. I don't want to take it away from you. It's okay, really. Cove shook his head. Even though it wasn't your fault, you still felt bad. Still, the offer seemed to lift Cove spirit, and that was good. The passing of Cove's balloon was the last major event of your adventure. In the end, you two headed back late that afternoon. I can read. You separated on the beach, and while Cove went straight home with his brand new sand pail in hand, you decided to sit for a while. You watched the waves and sunset, fiddling with your new keychain. Another summer day has drawn to a close. It had been a good one, except for the sad final note. we got the shopping done, and I think I have time to do one more. So, we're gonna do growing up. One sweltering summer day, you were in your living room with Cove, listening to the sound of the birds chattering outside the windows while you lay across the rug on the floor. Cove's dad had dropped him off earlier, and your mom had left the two of you, along with Lizzie, to play amongst yourselves. It had been too hot to go outside in the afternoon, at least according to Mommy. Oh God, I said I wouldn't do that, but here we go. Anyways, continue. So your sister was starting to get impatient, waiting for her golf class that evening. The three of you had trouble finding something to do. The beach and playground were off limits, and you felt that it was too warm for anything like playing with your fuzzy toy animals. Then suddenly, a light came across Lizzie's big brown eyes. Her smile spread across her face, having an idea, giving her a new wave of energy. Since we're stuck inside, we should be adults. They don't play outdoors anyways. They're already inside and telling everybody they're too busy to play. Yeah, no, Lizzie, you're a brat.
Why?
Why?
Duh.
I said why, and it'll be fun. Duh. What do they do inside and we don't? Besides, use the phone a lot. Excluding a small exhaling, that's not hailing. Excluding a small huff, Lizzie decided to ignore Cove.
What do you think?
Don, what do you think? Do you want to? Cove said it. That doesn't sound fun. I bet we could come up with something else. I don't know. I want to. I bet we can come up with something else. But that's what I'm going to do. And it's not as fun when I play pretend adults by myself. Do you do that a lot? That's it, you two. What's it to you? Ugh, I can read. Looking at Lizzie, it seemed Cove felt like he couldn't understand where she was coming from, and he sighed. Not she, he. Do you really not want to play, Don? It was clear he wanted to stay a way out, wanted some way out, but still felt guilty about it. I'll try, but it sounds boring. Okay, I'll stay. Sorry, I have other stuff to do. You keep hesitating. I'll try, but it sounds boring. It's not going to be, I guaranteed. Lizzie seemed more determined than ever, and you could only sigh. Satisfied that neither of you were about to bail on Lizzie, thought over her option while you watched. Sorry, something was on my screen. After a few seconds, she clapped her hands together and beaming, apparently having settled on something without asking either of you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna be a professional golfer. Dawn, You and Cove can be a beach volleyball player or a gymnast or a tennis player. Why can't we pick anything we want? Because I have fun ideas, that's why. And we have to play sports as an adult? Yep. Lizzie, you're a brat. But there's other kinds of sports too. That is true, that is true.
Right?
It isn't the same. What do you think, Don? Don't those choices sound super cool? You want to be that, huh? I kind of like those. Huh? It sounds like a blast. Isn't there anything else we can be? You nodded. Maybe not. Let's be real. If you're gonna pick, you gotta give it more than just those three. I gotta say, isn't there anything else we can be? Lizzie stomped her foot on the ground. Nope. Come on, just decide already. Knowing Lizzie won't let this go anytime soon, you sighed. Cove was not impressed with Lizzie's attitude, though he didn't bother talking more about it. You thought the list of possibilities: beach volleyball, gymnastics, or tennis. Out of them, all of them, you prefer to play. Honestly, I'll be real. Beach volleyball. If you couldn't spend the afternoon at the beach for real, you might as well pretend you were there. Definitely. I would pretend 100%. You could even you couldn't even wear your swimsuit to make it seem more realistic, though probably wouldn't let you run off and do that now. She had you here. Damn it. Yes, that was clearly the top option. I'm going to be a volleyball player. All right. I'll keep saying this. Lizzie, you're a brat. What about you, Cove? I want to have a volleyball team too. Sir? Hi, Winter. Welcome to the stream. We're playing Our Life, which is basically my first it's my first novel game. What game is this? Our Life. It's on Steam. I think it's free. I have not played this game actually in a while. But yeah. Welcome to the stream, and I hope you enjoy this. This is I will state this. This game definitely has a lot of wholesome moments and dying moments. I am going to die as this series continues on and on. So yeah, the game is Our Life. Should be free on Steam. If not, then hey, there's a game that you can potentially play. Because I'll probably stream this more often, especially since this is going to be a long series. Especially with multiple routes. Anyways, continuing on. Lizzie threw her hands in the air, making an annoying sound. Ooh. Lizzie, you're our brat. As much as you don't want to state it, you're a brat. You guys can't be the same thing. That's not how it works. Lizzie, you can't decide our fate. It can work. So stop being a brat about it. You didn't say that the rules was picking from the list. You can't keep adding more. I'm with you on this one, Cove. I'm with you on this one. Looks like the two of you were... Lizzie looked at you too. the two of you, then shook her head. Redesigned to lose this battle, but not the war. I'm sorry, Lizzie, you're going to lose this war. I will stand by Cove as we become these volleyball pros. Fine, you're both volleyball players, but you're not on the same team because there's only one. How does that work? I would like to know that, Lizzie. How does that work? Lizzie's ponytail bobbed when she proudly stretched her arms wide. The Olympic team. What? We're Olympic athletes who are just competed in the Olympics. Why do I hate my own sister? I hate my own sister in this. Cove didn't seem all that impressed with the announcement. He made a face and adjusted the glasses on his nose. That's really Pacific.
Rude.
That's what makes it fun anyways. Lizzie's a brat and a jerk. I don't know why I'm stuck with her as a sister. Lizzie marched back and forth in front of the both of you, getting lost in her own imagination. I won all gold medals and people are calling me the next Mickey Wright. Sure, Dan. Sure. We'll let you. Pacific. Yeah, no, I could so English. English is so my common language. It really is my first language, but I cannot speak or read to save the life of me. My sister's a brat, though. I would not call her the next Mickey Wright. Who's that? Yeah, exactly. Go. Who is that? Lizzie stopped on the spot and turned to him, her brown eyes shining with impatience. Oh no. It doesn't matter if you know who she is. It's a golf scene. We have all. Yes, we do have those moments. But my sister is a brat. Ugh. You guys won medals too. Your team plays silver. It's more real if we're not all first place. Again, my sister's a brat. Silver sucks. I don't want silver. Okay, I'm okay with that. Hey, we can do better than silver. Silver's not bad. Nice. You stay silent. Honestly, we could do better than silver, girl. You pout at Lizzie, unhappy was the decision. Don's right. That's right, Co. Stick with me. A lot of people lose at the Olympics. Them the break. I swear Lizzie gets better, but she is such a brat at this early stage. Then you're the one who did. Then you're the one who did, not me. Ooh. Lizzie looked taken aback by Cove's Well, English is gone. Declaration. You know what? I'm having a hard time. Let's try it again. Declaration. There we go. as though the thought of her losing was completely absurd. Because she's a brat. No way. It wouldn't make sense. I'm already practicing for my golf game. I will be real. I do find golf kind of boring. She took a golf stance to make her point, pretending to swing her club and hit an invisible ball. So, what kind of house do you want to live in? That sounded like a bad thing to say. Cove hadn't changed his mind about winning, but thinking about where he live as an adult appealed to him. Apparently because he looked back at Lizzie with some anger flooding. Why do I know what's gonna happen? I'm going to live on the beach. Lizzie made a face at him, poking out her tongue. Lizzie, can you not be a jerk to my friend for 5 seconds? My friend that could be my love interest, and we're not gonna just gloss over this. We're just gonna gloss over it now. That's kind of boring. We already have that. No, not like the normal house where here with a street on it, right on the sand, by the water. Honestly, yeah, no, that would actually work. Just like that, all tension was back. You haven't even had a chance to choose where you would want to live. That's not very fun or smart, Cove. You can't live on a beach of sand and shells. Lizzie, shut the fuck up, please. But I want to, and I will. Cove narrowed his eyes at Lizzie. And even though she stood half a head taller than him, dang. You didn't give out a list of things to pick from this time, so I'm picking that. Why are you even playing pretend if we can't even imagine anything? That is true. That is true. Jeez. Well, I'm going to live in a mansion far away from here and far away from you. Can I punch Lizzie in the face? I hate my own sister. One with an indoor pool and a place to practice my award-winning golfing. My sister's a brat. I'm gonna sound like a broken record now with this, but she really is a brat. How come you were yelling about mine when your idea is even more impossible? Okay, Cove, honey, sweetheart, potential love interest of mine. It can be possible. Sorry on this one. I kind of have to side with Lizzie on this. Lizzie face flush red, her hands balling into a fist at her side. Oh no. It's not impossible. And it's better than yours. This agreement always seemed to crop up when the two of them were together. And you always felt like you were stuck in the middle. Yep. I really do feel like I'm stuck in the middle here. But when it came to topic at hand, this time you thought you prefer a mansion, being on the beach, it's cooler. You wanted to agree with Liz. Cove was right, and you were tired of deciding between either of them. Honestly, being on the beach is cooler. I would honestly live on the beach if I was a professional beach volleyball player. Who wouldn't want to live on the beach? It'd be really great. You could have windows made of driftwood and seashells, wind chimes. Ugh. He smiled slightly over the agreement, then turned to Lizzie with a bullish confidence. I don't know how that word is pronounced. Bolstered? You can swim wherever you want if you lived on a beach. We can still swim anytime we want from here where we live now. Being a little closer doesn't mean anything. Girl, it means everything. Quit being a brat. Says you. The two of them scowled at each other. You're being so unreasonable, you. I don't get it. What you want? This game doesn't make sense.
Ugh.
It does. You just have to be realistic. I said that. But you're not. You had no idea what to make them stop. At this point, it seemed like the two of them would just keep working each other up as long as they could. Nothing you said so far had kept them from being mad. Fuck. Thankfully, like a great card angel, Mom walked into the room. Mom! Lizzie rushed to her, hanging onto the hem of her shirt and poking out her tongue at Cove. Oh no. Lizzie, Dawn, it's time to get ready to go.
You alright with that?
Sorry you have to leave already, Cove. There, Mom said she'll walk you home so you won't be left in the cold. Yeah, I'm not gonna say the other word because I'm gonna die if I try to. Cove was still glaring at Lizzie, his face flushed red with anger. I can go by myself, but
Bye.
bye, Dawn. It was still a harshened stage to breathe farewell, but you knew it wasn't you he was mad at. Oh. Without giving Mom a chance to stop him, Cove stood up and stalked out of the room until shoulders drawing tight.
Huh?
Okay. Worried, Mom turned to look down at you and Lizzie. You two were playing nice with our new friend, weren't you? Lizzie's a rat! I'm telling the truth! I'll be the rat here. I don't care. I'll be a rat to tell a rat out of my own sister. We were playing pretend and things got intense. They were like cats and dogs. Your sister's jaw dropped, looking betrayed as Mom put both her hands on her hip. Elizabeth, I told you to be kind to him. He's been having a hard time right now. Lizzie's mouth closed back up, replaced with a tiny frown. I know I tried, but he was...
That's enough.
No buts. We both know you can show someone a great time when you put your mind to it. We're going to apologize to Cove and his dad over the phone when he gets home from work tonight. Lizzie hung her head, dragging a foot across the ground in front of her. Okay, Mom. Good girl. You caught a piece of Lizzie sulking to herself about how it was his fault too, but it was over. All right, we better get a move on.
Let's go.
Let's go, kids. Nolan, where did you leave the car keys? Mom hustled you all out of the door and you noticed during the car ride to golf practice, Lizzie was quieter than usual. Good, the bitch is quiet. She was usually the first person to request which music to listen to in the car, but she didn't say anything. Your parents noticed she wasn't in a mood to be bothered. They gave her space, and Mom just asked you, what would you like to listen to? You pick your favorite song. It always makes the car ride more fun. You choose a soundtrack to a cool movie you saw a couple months ago. You choose a song you knew Lizzie liked. Maybe that will cheer her. Honestly, okay, she may be a jerk and all, but I'm gonna choose the last one. You were happy to see it brighten her up right away. She started to sing along with you. Soon enough, her bad mood was a thing of the past. When the car ride was over, you spent the twilight hours watching Lizzie hit things with the other girls her age. You didn't know much about golf, because it's boring, but you could tell that she really liked it, so you sat with your moms and tried to puzzle it out. It was nice outside after being cooped up in the house all day, and you stretched out your legs to let the last few minutes of the sun warm your skin. When the sun finally out of sight, dipping behind the horizon, you all got ready to leave. Instead of going straight home, your moms took the family out to dinner. You went to a restaurant y'all have been going to ever since you could remember. Hey, nice. The whole afternoon had been a bunch of shouting. You haven't been able to stop, but you could kindly tell that all of this happened. Lizzie being less angry. The car ride home was quiet, with only the radio providing escape from the silence. Lizzie had been in better spirits now, but the closer you got to your neighborhood, the more she wiggled in her seat and frowned out the window. The bitch knew what she did. It came back to her. She knew what was coming when you all got home. She clearly she was dreading it. Soon enough, Mom was turning onto the street, then reversing into the driveway. Once she cut the ignition, it was dead silence. Dun dun dun. No one spoke, only unbuckled their seatbelts and opened the door. Lizzie was the last one out. Once everyone was inside and done taking off their shoes, she propped her hands on her hips.
So,
Now then, Mr. Horn's car is in the driveway, so we should be back from work. But here's good news. That's good news, isn't it, Elizabeth? You and Cove can hash things out before the day is done. Lizzie didn't complain or put up a fight. Her head ducked so she didn't have to meet anyone's eyes. She nodded once. Good. let's move this into the kitchen. Mom went over to the house phone, and the rest of you follow behind her. Other mom, put a gentle hand on Lizzie's shoulder as they walked side by side. You watched them from the back. This was only happening because you told on Lizzie. You didn't regret it. You felt a little guilty, like you betrayed your sister. You hadn't liked doing it, but it had to. But it was her fault for doing it in the first place. Didn't like doing it, but I had to. Being a tattletale didn't feel good, and you wouldn't want someone else to tell your mom everything you did. Still, your mom had asked directly, and you wanted to be a liar even less. The four of you stood around the kitchen in a lopsided square. All eyes were on Lizzie, who kept gazing on her feet. You remember numbers for Cove's house, don't you, honey? Lizzie jerked her head. Another nod. Sullen. Without further prompting, she stepped forward and began to dial. Mom reached over and pressed the buttons on the base. Suddenly, you could hear the phone ringing. She turned on the speaker. The phone rang a couple times, then Mr. Holland's warm voice came through the other end. Evening, Holland residents. Lizzie looked over at Mommy, unsure. She nodded encouragingly. Hi, Mr. Holland. It's, Lizzie. Can I talk to Cove?
Absolutely.
Lizzie Fox. What a surprise. But, of course, you can say hey to the boy. He sounds cheery than usual, though definitely meant to when he was. It was a surprise. You thought hard, and you were sure your sister had never called Cove's house before. Mom spoke up before Mr. Holland or Lizzie could say anything more. Her arms were close to her chest. Her lips pierced. Ouch. Hi, Cliff. Nolan here. Leanne. Don and I are here too. Good evening. Sorry to bother you so late. You spoke up to say hello too, or you say nothing to Cove's dad. I say, hi, Mr. Holland. The gang's all here, huh? Is something the matter? His voice grew a bit concerned. Mom was quick to reassure him. No, well, yes, but it's going to be okay. Lizzie and Cove got into a bit of a fight today, and we're hoping that the two of them could talk, make up. It is a good time for you and Cove. Is that a good time for you and Cove?
What?
Fight? Well, Cove didn't tell me anything about that when I came home. It does explain the funk he's been in tonight. Damn it, Cove. Why are you like this, dude? He chuckled lightly despite that. It didn't seem like he really thought it was funny. Anyways, it's good. You didn't catch us at a bad time. I'll go grab him for you. Jeez Louise, this game is gonna make me yawn to death. Even though I know how it goes. And I'm going to die when certain stuff happens. There was some shuffling on the other end. He must not have gone far because you could still hear him calling out. Cove, there's someone on the phone for you. After a beat of silence, there was more muffled talking from Cove's dad. Come on, bud. Lizzie called just so she can talk to you.
Are you sure?
Don's on the other end listening too. Don't you want to say hi? It took a bit of back and forth, though the conversation seemed one-sided, since you couldn't hear Cove properly. Eventually, Cove took the phone from his dad.
Hi.
Hello? Hey, it's Lizzie. Yeah, I know. Dad told me. Cove's tone was defensive. Lizzie turned to Mom, scowling. One stern look from her, and Lizzie turned away.
Sorry.
I just called to say I'm sorry for not playing nice with you today. I won't do it again. Lizzie's eyes were downcast, her voice low. You could tell she felt uncomfortable apologizing to Cove in front of everyone. She was still being genuine about feeling bad for Cove. Feeling bad. Cove must have realized that too, because he sighed quietly. Me and Don should get gold too. That's right. Lizzie had kept denying you too for what you deserved. Damn! I love the face that's going on right now too. It's hilarious. Lizzie was momentarily stunned, silent by the man. She probably forgot that even happened already. All right, we all win the cold. Okay, I guess I'm sorry too. A sigh of relief washed over everyone at his exception of the apology. Oh. Mom uncrossed her arms while her other mom shoulder relaxed. Lizzie's eyebrows raised up. You wondered if she thought he refused her apology. Dad, can I get off the phone now? You couldn't see him, but it was obvious that Cove felt awkward around the situation. He didn't come off uncomfortable the entire time, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can go back to your room if you want. Be sure to say goodbye first, though. Bye, Lizzie. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Don. Ah. This fox boy can take so much, and that so much is not going to be helpful. You perked up at the mention of your name. You smiled, even if you couldn't see it. Bye, Cove. Was that Cove must have handed the phone back to his dad and left since Mr. Holland spoke up.
That's a relief.
Well, all well in the end, so well. As they say, thanks for arranging this. I'm sure he appreciates it. As Mom replied, Lizzie tugged on other Mom's hand, catching her attention. Can I go on too?
Good job.
Sure, sweetie. Thanks. Thank you very much for apologizing to Cove. Mom flashed a brief smile at Lizzie and nodded in her agreement. Given permission to leave, Lizzie scurried off to the stairs. She seemed to be feeling much better with the incident behind her. Mom and the other mom returned to the phone, talking it off the speaker. They continued talking to Mr. Holland. You couldn't tell what about. You were glad it was the end of it all. Lizzie and Cove might not get along, but and probably still won't. But they weren't mad at each other anymore. Mom and the other mom weren't upset either. Eventually, it was finally back to normal. With that, though, you retreated to your room with the spring in your step. Oh my gosh, that is grown up. I don't think I'll be able to finish it, but we'll start long day as well. Get that started. And wherever we end, we'll decide how we will continue next episode, if it's back here or finishing Long Day's Sandcastle. So yeah, we're going to start Long Day, get as far as we can before we have to end the stream, and then probably finish it next time I play this game. Okay, anyways, it was another scorching summer day, the kind where no sooner had you finished 1 cup of water, you're already filling it up again. Oh dang, I'm filling up more water. I have water right here. Listen to this water. Should drink some water. Everyone else had something going on, so the afternoon, it was just you and Shiloh. This didn't happen much, especially since Cove had arrived. Without Lizzie around, Shiloh looked to you for all the answers. It made you feel nothing really. I don't need to read the others. I would not be the best person to go for answers or advice. Like, I can listen to people rant about their life, but giving them an answer, ooh, that's a whole different part. Shiloh went along with whatever you wanted, so he wasn't bothered, but he also wasn't that much fun. You drank yet another drink and frowned at the empty vessel. Your thirst was gone, but you still craved for something icy, cold, and refreshing. Something sweet. Something like a popsicle, an ice cream cone, ice cream sandwich, an ice cream cone. Nothing beats a classic creamy scoop of ice cream on a day like this. There was nothing like that to be found at home. You knew that it was out needing to look. Your moms didn't keep sweets in the house. Ugh. Outside, there were plenty of places, such as goodies could be attained, but they were shops and demanded payment in exchange for their products. Beside, you voiced your predicament out loud. You got Shiloh for help. I sigh. As much as you really wanted that treat, it wasn't going to happen. What's wrong? I want an ice cream cone. Shiloh, who has been draped over the sofa, perked up.
Yeah.
That sounds good. We don't have any here, and I don't have any money. Oh, let me check if I have any. Shiloh rummaged his backpack and proudly pronounced an assortment of coins, plus one straight button. Ah, the classic, let me see what I have, and proceeds not to have enough money. You set the button aside and counted the coins in a neat pile. Just over $1, you announced to Shiloh. He had almost certainly come to some conclusion, but he's been watching you expectantly. That's not enough.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Well, we need to find some more. Okay. The two of you lift the couch cushions, stuck your tiny hands down the deep crevices in the sofa and under furniture, and sorted back the drawers. Most of what you found was used or gross. Bent paper clips, fussy wisp or dust or sand crumbs. But every so often, one of you would strike silver or bronze and add it to the growing pile of coins. Your mind wandered to the $20 bill tucked away in your room, but it was enough for you and Shiloh to get whatever you wanted and more, but you didn't take it out. That was too special to hand over so freely. Besides, Shiloh could be curious about where it came from and might even mention your wealth to Lizzie. That exchange had to have been a secret. Yeah, no, that's smart on my part that I don't want to give out that $20. Dusty and disheveled from checking every point and squirting to every tiny nooks. The two of you finished pulling your finds. Shiloh held his breath as you counted the coins once again. It's not going to be enough. $2.53 and 2 buttons. You didn't know where the second button had decided to join the party, but you were too pleased with your successful haul to throw it out. Is that enough? You figured he knew the answer without looking to you for confirmation, but the thrill of your success and rewards that would follow canceled out by any other feelings you might have about it. Yeah, you could now afford something at the shop, just one thing. But that was infinitely better than none. Shiloh clapped his hands. Yay! The two of you dashed outside. The promised sugar beat onto you, and your destination were breathless, but happy. You started at the overwhelming numbers of options. You knew what you wanted, but it wasn't just you who had contribute the funds to get the treat. He seems to notice your pause. Aren't you getting an ice cream cone? Shiloh asks, though he entirely suspected sporadic English straight from the decision rather than someone with a stock on the overcome. Do you mind? Shiloh cocked his head to the side. It was your idea. You should choose. I'm going to do the first option, honestly. You guys could have read that, because I took my time on that one. You thrilled that Shiloh wasn't going to be an obstacle between you and your original choice. Without wasting another second, you exchanged the cold hard cash for equally cold but less hard dessert. Finally, the reward for all of your hard work was in your hand. You left the soft ice cream and the sweetness perked you up. You held it out to Shiloh so he can take a turn. He shook his head.
You can finish it.
You can finish it. He didn't want any? After everything he did to help get it? That was weird. Try and include Shiloh. Even if Shiloh said it was okay, every story you ever seen on TV or read in the book said sharing is caring. You stood your ground even as the treat started to trickle dangerously towards your fingers. Oh no, finish it. It's only fair that you have some. We both bought it. But you wanted it more than I do. And getting to play was a lot of fun already, so you can have it. It's more fair. You held it out to him. I want you to have some even more than I want to finish it. So eat your part. Realizing Shiloh took the treat, gave it a taste. His eyes lift up.
Thank you.
That's really good. Thank you. You smile, pause. Was your good deed. You picked the best one. He meant that. Shiloh was really nice, no matter what happened. Even if he hated it, you knew he wouldn't say no. Maybe though it was gross, and that was real reason why he didn't want to take some. You had no idea. You studied him as he ate a little more. He had every aberration of enjoying himself. Still weird. The two of you began to head back home as he ate. As you walk side by side on the shore in silence, but thoughts kept drifting to the boy beside you. Why wouldn't he speak up for himself? It's almost like as if Shiloh didn't know how to say what he felt or was too afraid. Figured that was his problem and didn't care. You scared me. Are you scared of me? I saw it was kind of sad. Are we friends? Are you scared of me? Shiloh opened his eyes wide, seemingly caught off guard by the blunt question. No way. But you don't tell me things like what you want to do or what treat we should get. It's not because I'm scared. It's because I have better ideas than I do. Unfortunately, there's yet another thing you couldn't entirely believe Shiloh on. You hope it was true and that he really did feel okay around you, though Shiloh made you unsure about a lot about sending a label on experience of spending the afternoon with just him. There had been good times and there has been confusing ones. You were positive of one thing. At least the treat was delicious and that was nice. The sun was low on the horizon as you returned to your neighborhood. You spotted the two familiar figures up ahead, Lizzie and Cove. You opened your mouth to make your presence known. Just to them, just you saw the tears on Cove's face. Oh no, Lizzie, you better not have done shit. If you've done shit, I will fight you. You walked straight over Shiloh at your heel. Once there, you defended Cove. Accuse Lizzie for causing trouble. I'll carefully ask what happened, because I don't know what happened. Without a time machine, the only way you were going to find out was asking the witnesses. Lizzie might have done something, but she couldn't have been in the wrong place at the wrong time, or even come to Cove's aid. You wanted to hear the story. Cove, what happened? Dawn, I got yelled at. By Lizzie? I will fight her, Cove. He took a deep, steady breath. Some grandparents got mad at me. I'm gonna be fighting some old people. Oh, sorry. Lizzie jerked her head in the direction of the nearby house. Your heart sunk. You knew exactly what had happened. Every year, the same mean old couple rented out that condo for the summer. You, Lizzie, and Shiloh knew to stay away from them, but Cove couldn't have. They're like that with everyone. Even our mom struggled to find anything nice to say about him, but the elderly pair particularly took offense to kids. It doesn't matter if they were really nice, like Cove. Yeah, Lizzie said. Lizzie drew herself up. Was that she looked pointingly in your direction. Lizzie, can you wipe that evil grin off your face, girl? Please. Huh? I was helping. That's cool. Is there anything else I can do? No, I'm just gonna stay away. Or you could teach him a lesson. Lizzie, don't you dare try and get my boy into this. There was a devilish glint in her eyes. Lizzie, no. What? You should ding-dong ditch them. Go ring the doorbell and run. It'll be great, 'cause they're so slow. They'll never catch you. Lizzie, why are you like this, girl? Why are you a brat? That's dumb. I don't want to go near them ever again.
You're just saying that because you're a chicken.
Thanks, Lizzie, but I'm gonna read it. You're just saying that because you're a cluck chicken. Cove glared, but she didn't take a bit. Lizzie turned to you. You're not a chicken, are you? Yeah, cluck. You'd rather just avoid them. You just thought they deserved the worst. I'll do it. Honestly, they yelled at Cove. They yelled at my boy. They deserve worse. You scrunch up your nose in disgust as you shook your head. As the pranks go, it was pretty weak. They would answer the door to find nothing is there. So what? It would be sort of annoying, but it seemed like the kind of people that would be irrationated about anything. If they were going to open the door, there should be something bad there. That would not let them off easy. You felt 3 pairs of eyes staring at you. But you studied your surroundings, so there wasn't much around that they might dislike. Inspiration came crawling towards you from the roly-poly bug. Carefully, you lowered your hand and let it clamber onto your palm. That should do it. You've never met an adult who appreciated bugs. Let's ding-dong ditch and bug 'em. Yeah! We'll go and hide. Run as soon as you hit the bell. Good luck! Lizzie and Shiloh ran across the road, taking shelter in the bushes. Even once they settled down, you couldn't make out 2 childlike shapes staring beneath the leaves. You knew they were looking for them, so you told yourself that the grouchy people wouldn't spawn in. Cove sighed as his gaze fixated on the house, then back on you. Be careful. I'll be quick as a flash. As he gave the door and you one last look before joining Lizzie and Shiloh in their hideaway. The weight of 3 pairs of eyes on your back was heavier than anything you carried before. As you approached the door, you stared down at the little bug, closed hand, and carefully placed it on the ground, where it could be seen, but off enough to the side that it won't be stepped on. You rang. You slapped the buzzer and ran, blood thumping against your eardrum with every step. Would you make it in time? Approaching the hiding spot, you knew there wasn't enough time to go around the bushes as the other. You took a shortcut and leaped over them. Or, to be more accurate, crashing onto the tops of the bushes and falling over to the other side. Cove quietly hissed as your unwilling coil unwilling coiled to him. But the way his arm were, it seemed like you. It seemed to have immediately tied to the cushion of your landing. Shh! Don't shush me, girl! Lizzie put a finger on her lips, nodded at the house disentanglement. Your limbs from Coast, and spun around to see the old man framed in the doorway, peering back and forth suspiciously. You giggled your mouth with your hands, but it wasn't enough for you to stifle your giggles. Maybe he spotted one of you, or maybe it was the leaves, your displacement while jumping, but he locked eyes with the bush and stormed over to your direction. Shiloh gasped and looked to Lizzie. Run! Your sister didn't hesitate to take her own advice. Neither did Shiloh. You got up, seeing Ko struggling to extract himself and stand up, just one functionally arm. You gave him a hand up before taking off after the others. As you escaped, you thought yourself that he didn't even notice the bug. The old man hollered, trailed you all the streets of the sanctuary of the hill. Only once you were safe did you notice the snitch in your chest and the stitch in your chest and your aching in your leg. You flopped down on the blade of grass, trickling your face. Lizzie, who had taken the lead in the end, was already lazing on the ground. The four of you took a moment to catch your breath and enjoyed the feeling of the cool grass against your skin.
Cove.
Hey, Cove! Cove lifted his head. I told you there were mean grandparents around here. Cove rolled his eyes, then decided that it wasn't dismissive enough to roll his whole body away from your sister. Lizzie, who chose to ignore his response, and started chatting to Shiloh, who eagerly joined in the conversation. In the back of your mind, you knew you would be a second fiddle again to Shiloh once Lizzie came around. It was always when it was like that. It was fine. You thought. It was always annoying. It's fine. Shiloh could prefer Lizzie. Stars play Repo. Fun fact, I do want to plan to play Repo at some point. I will state that loud and clear. Anyways, Shiloh could prefer Lizzie as much as he wanted to. There were other scenes to attend anyways. You wiggled over to Cove, and he had calmed down, for the most part, and was inspecting flowers. His fingers pitched the stem and tilted the white petals towards him. That's a poppy. Cove glanced at your acknowledgement, then back at the flower. And the type of poppy on this hill have a name. White lily poppy. Mom told me. He quirked a smile. That's funny. He ran his fingers across the edge of the petal. It doesn't feel like cloth. You need a lot of them to make anything. He nodded and released delicate plan. Evolution completed. And that's my favorite kind of flower, but I didn't know what it was called. Thanks. Mine too. I like roses. I like buttercups. Dragon, peonies, sunflowers, tulip, orchids. You know what? This is going to be tying into one of my friends. Orchids are the most special. Those flowers are super fancy and comes in all sorts of colors and stuff. Some even pretend to be like bugs. They do? Yep, they trick real bugs by looking like one. Wow, you know everything. Not everything, but thanks. I love the artwork. Can I just appreciate the artwork for 5 seconds, please? You moved to your back and smiled. Small smile. And looked at the darkening sky. The blanket of the clouds remind you of the thick throw you curled under on the cold breeze. You wondered if the clouds would be as soft. They lazily flowed on by, slipping from each other, merging and morphing into new shape. You saw a dolphin, you saw a tar, you saw an alpaca, you saw a smiley face, you saw cloud shapes. You know what? My character, there's no foxes as an option, so we'll say this version of me have a dolphin obsession. Kind of makes sense. You saw a dolphin leaping through the sky. You nudged Cove and pointed to it. Look, a dolphin! Cove joined you in the gazing skyward. Yeah, I see it. Really? No, but I like dolphin. Hey! He chuckled at your reaction. All the sunlight faded from the sky, and the moon rose higher. Lizzie got to her feet, dusting strand of grass from her bare legs, and surveyed her surrounding. The ocean, visible from the cast of the hill, beckoned with every step of the tide. Let's go to the beach. There was no argument from other two. Shiloh was still Shiloh, and Cove would never say no to going to the shore. He was a child of the sea. You? Sure, I want to go there. If Cove's going, I'm going. I gotta watch Cove, because Cove apparently is going to get beat up by my sister. So you eagerly join the others, descending down the hill to the water. You step onto the sand for the second time that day. But it felt different at night. The beach was nearly quiet at this hour. Abandoned sandcastle and footstep in the sand. Too big to belong to any of you. You were the only one English accepted on how busy it has been. Only hours earlier. The four of you kicked off your shoes, removed your socks, and walked along the water's edge. The waves tickled your feet. I wonder what would happen if you tried to bathe in the ocean with shampoo and everything. That wouldn't be bad for the. That would be bad for the fish.
Jeez.
I didn't say anyone would do it. Jeez. You didn't have to be serious about everything. Yeah, no. I didn't. You're the one who asked what would happen. That is what would happen if it hurt the fish. Like bubble baths at home? They're a lot of fun. Me too. Bubble baths are luxurious. You never heard Lizzie use those words before. Mommy loves having bubbles in her bath. She turns the light off and have candles. Oh no, Lizzie! Oh no! I'm going to do that next time. Hey, when is your mom coming to pick you up? Anyways, not for a while. She's busy. What about your dad? How come he never talks? You never talk to him much. Talk to him. Nobody does. Don't you know you're not supposed to ask something like that? Why should somebody talk about something they never talk about? You kept your eyes on the ground, watching your toes get swallowed up by the waves. Even Shiloh seemed upset. at the topic came up. It made you feel awkward. Just having both of your... Just for having your moms. It's okay. I like Lizzie and Dawn, and I don't have a dad. But I don't have two moms. I just have one. She's really great. Oh, sorry. I only have one now. My mom, she isn't here. She's back at home. It's just my dad and me.
Sorry.
I never had a dad or anything, so I didn't feel bad. It's really sad that your mom's gone. Cove nodded. Even if we're all different, our parents are good in their own ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cove couldn't muster up a response. You didn't think he'd truly disagree, though. Hopefully not. The silence broke with a splash as Lizzie kicked in your direction. Cold water, soaking, and sold sand splattered against your leg. Lizzie giggled and still outstretched from the kick. Cove joined in, sinking in the incoming waves to make a splash of his own. Shallow scurried out of Cove's spray zone with a grin. I retaliate. You use your foot to smack the water pooling around. You're sending an arc of sea foam flying towards your sister. You laugh as she was flat from the salty water having landed in her mouth. She spat it out. Yuck! You deserve that, girl. Lizzie chased at you, intent on revenge. You dashed up and down the coast. It turns out to be a predator and a prey, as well as joining forces taking down Shiloh or Cove. Alliances were silently forged, and wordless broke down. Eventually, it was a fair game in war. Shiloh was drowned out by a big splash, yet by him falling face first to the ground. There could have been bad enough without the waves flowing, crashing over his pruned body. Shiloh sat up, shaking the head like the dog coming in from the rain, as you walked over and checked him out. His hair plastered his head to his head. His soaked clothes clung. If there was any part of him still dry, you couldn't see it. That was crazy. Are you okay? Yeah, my foot got stuck and I fell over. Yeah, way to go, Shiloh, you Dumbo. Shiloh didn't take your outstretched hand. After a moment, you dropped it. Lizzie was too busy snickering and noticed, and headed her hand out to Shiloh too. He reached out over it and took it. Slowly, Shiloh started to pull himself from the ground. Then he slipped and sunk sand, dragged from Lizzie just down in time for another wave to hit, the water rolling over them.
Sorry.
Sorry. What were the odds of that happening twice in a row? They must have been low. But there was no way Shiloh would do something like that on purpose, then pretend it was like an accident, especially not to Lizzie. Even if their relationship with Shiloh felt unclear, he did at least like her a lot. Lizzie was his favorite, right? Smiling boldly, Lizzie contracted herself from the ground, wiped a streak of sand from her cheek. She didn't intend to let this embarrass her. Shiloh got up as at the time, without an incident, he looked like a drowned puppy. But that didn't stop Ko laughing at the two of them. With that, it was time to call it a day. I'm going to finish this because I know we're kind of to the end, and then we'll end the stream. The four of you made the journey back home, leaving the trail of wet footsteps and sand in your wake. Damp clothes may have weighed you down some. The weighed down some of the group, but your spirits were high. Your arms swung to your side as the cold breeze flowed past. Your moms were outside shouting to Cove's dad, "We're back!" Your mom's face felt as if they took the stage you were all in, ringing around from messy to soak.
Now,
Elizabeth, is this all you have to say for yourself? You brought half the beach with you. They certainly did. What Marigold is going on? Going on to do when she comes to get Shiloh? Isn't that what you wanted to look like for the long drive home? Cold and filthy? Lizzie's expression turned sulky over scolding. But the oldest could be fun. But also meant she was the first to get in trouble when something went wrong. Mr. Holland, on the other hand, chuckled and ruffled Cove's matted hair. You've been out making memories, bucko. I'm glad you had a good time with your friends. Cove slightly moist cast arm. He pushed his dad off. Mr. Holland eyed whining. He noticed that it's gone wet. Now has the worried look too. I think they could find a little risky way to spend time and had just as much fun. That might be right. Kids, what can you do? Come on, Cove. Let's get you cleaned up and dried off. We wouldn't want that cast. We wouldn't want to have that cast to be reset. Cove winced at the thought. Okay. That's a boy. Mr. Holland casually bent down, plucking Cove off the ground, immediately holding Cove against his chest. Sand was already transferring from Cove onto him, but it didn't seem to bother Mr. Holland. Cove protested being carried, but only got reassuring pats on the back for his trouble.
take care.
Good night, Cove, and thank you for the talk, Cliff. Night, Fox family, and Shiloh too. Resigned his fate, Cove twisted his body in his dad's arm in order to turn around and wave goodbye. Smiling, he waved back. Good night.
Fine.
Well, we better do what we can to fix you guys up. Come on, everyone inside. I want you to march straight to the downstairs bathroom. Yes, Mom. Okay, Lizzie's mom. Don't worry about stopping to wipe your feet them out this time. That's not too much. Good night. Sitting on the old beach towel your mommy has found, you waited for the hallway until you were less sandy and you weren't allowed to go into your room or walk around the house, of course. But you didn't get to eat a sandwich for dinner. It felt like an indoor picnic. It had been decent that Shiloh would have washed up first and borrowed some of your clothes. He was already finished and packed up in his mom's car, Miss Fields, and come to collect him a little while ago. It was a bit funny experience seeing him without that hat for once. Lizzie, being much more soaked than you, got in the tub next. It was a bubble bath, as she hoped for. This was not no fun lounge cleaning up session. At least, that's what she claimed. Not much longer, and it has been your turn. When the bath was done, you have gone right to bed. After the day like this, though, you were glad you weren't going to be any further event. Drift off to sleep sounded like a great idea. And there is the long day. So I'm going to state this now. I will possibly either be streaming later this week, potentially. I'm going to state that now. I'm not going to confirm or deny when. I do not even know when. But the next guaranteed stream on Wednesday is going to be on a different day. So, well, next week, Wednesday is going to be a bit later. Maybe a half an hour later if I can get back in time. So yeah, don't expect it to be immediate. It will have to happen a bit later. And with that, my Foxlings, I will see you in the next video or stream. See ya!